Hi, this is Mia Get Real. I had to restart my video because this stupid ad came on. I'm on the Harbor Freight website. I was not expecting that at all, so now I'm really mad. Um, my hair is super dry, super messy. Let me get rid of that. I hate that. I haven't had that happen before. I don't want anything on my video, any music or what. Let's see. I'll call it a portable power pack. So I like this guy, and I went out, and then I don't know what happened at work with me the other day. It was really bad. I was having my heart on my sleeve. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna freaking puke. So the 3-in-1 is $57.99, and that's the 4. So this one is 4-in-1, $56.23. Where the heck is that? Is it sold out? 69. Okay, so these, the 4-in-1, the 3-in-1. I was actually gonna look at the 3-in-1. The 3-in-1 is actually more expensive, but if there's a 20% off coupon, I don't know what's missing off of that one. But I have like a lot of nervous energy, and like I technically only need the 3-in-1. I think I know I need tire pressure gauge. I spelled gauge wrong. I think this one has 3.5 stars. I'm gonna read the reviews. Slime. Why is this called slime? Alright, so I'm trying to click on this. So, oh, there's 35 1-stars. So let me see why they have 1 star. So the one we have is not working, and it's weirding me out. Good. Price. Okay, let's go to the 1 stars. Very not accurate. Just because junk threw it away. Or very inaccurate. Not calibrated. Always reads 5 or 10 higher. Poorly constructed. Air valve pops off. Popped into. Alright, so these guys are saying it's not calibrated correctly, so I'm not going to get it. And then I'm going to backspace and see if I can find, what are these other ones, these fancy ones. This one, it costs $1 more, it's too fancy for me. Dual head, truck RV. Can I use that? This one has the most amount of stars. It's got 4.5. $4.99. Can I use it on a vehicle, on a car, a passenger car? Useful on bigger tires over 60 pounds. Checking all tire down to the inferior dot trucks. I didn't know they got their tires. And let's see I don't know if there's any questions. Broke, came apart. Lost more parts. Get what you pay for. Alright, so these people say some bad stuff. I don't know what to do now. I'll come back to it. Alright, so I don't know if it'll even work on the little car. So we're going to go through this list, and I'm going to post the other video right now. It's super long, and I had the Proverbs 15 from Joyce Meyer's book. Joyce Meyer's version of the Amplified Bible. I don't even know if anyone else has an Amplified Bible. Poured Avion, I can taste it. Okay, let's upload video. So I'm at this, like, feeling like I needed more meetings, feeling like I needed friends. I'm not trying to brag or say this happened or blah, blah, blah. I'm, like, trying to talk to people for safety reasons. And I had to realize, as a Libra and as a Venus and Scorpio and the dragon fire sign, blah, 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 I had to realize that I am too chatty and that I do too much to, okay, this one was only 3 minutes. I said I could shut it off. I do too much. It's an hour and a half. Holy cow, I thought it was an hour and 15. I do too much in the world, and I'm not calm, and I have to realize, like, I don't have to be calm. I can be myself, and when I ask God to help me, that I'm asking God to help me. And Proverbs 20, no, Proverbs 14. Joyce Meyer Amplified Bible. Check-in, dating, loss, meditation, victim, vibration, resolution, faith. I'm going to say fear versus faith. Okay, so let's publish this. It's really long. I have my... Oh, sorry, my nose was all salty. I have my notebook, and I don't know where... I don't know, it's somewhere over there. I have to read... I don't have to do anything. I wanted to do the dating reflection because this is an experiment. A little bit of background about me is that why the heck is my hair so dry? What if I just wash it today? I was supposed to wash it tomorrow. It's like super dry. I should put like some moisture in, the kind that you're supposed to wash out the next day, huh? I grew up in a family where you didn't see intimacy. You saw commands and fear and beatings. You didn't see anybody hugging, holding, like parents hugging, holding hands with anyone. You didn't see people sitting too close, knee to knee, laughing about life. It was all commands. It was like a military business. Like, it was just like, do this, do what I say. Being evil and weird and unstable and still having that white picket fence dream come true as far as material objects, but the thing, like, it's less tangible, I feel, to have a relationship and love and respect. That's like invisible stuff, but you could see it. It's invisible stuff, like dreams. It's like, it's not invisible, but it's like dreams. It's like faith. It's like spirituality. I can go to T-Mobile right now and go buy a phone, and I'll have a tangible object, and I'll have to owe a bunch of money, because I don't even know why they don't give you the option to pay cash. I'm like, what if I want to pay cash for the whole thing? And like, I should ask once in a while, so that I didn't realize I had a message on Saturday. I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't get missed calls. I'm sure. The 12th? Was that the 12th? Alright. So because it's an experiment, I kind of geeked out in a way where I wanted to kind of sound more technical, more scientific. It's like talking to kids about sex as a parent, but if you're like, I was a med student or a doctor at the time, it's like, you want to be like, as your physician, I want to tell you this stuff. Like, non-biased, like, no opinions, no religion. But ultimately, you feel like you should carry on your conversation as your individual person who you are, not as your profession or your education. But I have a hard time, since I don't really have friends, in making everything so like technical and geeky. So just keep it like that. So I did so many science posts, so it's called an experiment. But basically, I grew up having crushes on boys, as early as I can remember is first grade. Excuse me. And after first grade, I had these guys that were cousins that I'd play kiss tag with. And after first grade, nobody else liked me from second grade to 12th grade. No one in my town. There's one guy that liked me sometime in high school, but I don't remember what happened to him. We talked on the phone a couple times. I don't know what happened. He was shy, and we should have pursued that. A couple guys from out of town, or they were over than 18 or older. One was from in town, and one was from out of town. I kind of dated them. Another guy was from out of town, so it's 3 older men that I dated, like 15, 16, 17 years old. And they all fell apart. They were abusive and neglectful. It sucked. There was people getting pregnant. That wasn't me. Like, all the women, like, it was weird stuff. That was not my style of fairy book marriage or love. Not marriage, but boyfriend. And I don't even know if these guys actually called each other boyfriend, girlfriend. I really want to burn some incense. I want to fix that dress and my pants that are right here, too. No idea what I did with the sewing I was using. It's probably still in the pants. And in college, so these guys all disappeared. My one guy friend came to visit me. I was in ROTC. I go, "You want to come with me?" So he didn't want to come. He was embarrassed. And so I took all of my extra food to him. And I never heard. He came. I don't know if he stayed in my door, but he came to visit. And I never heard from him after that, ever, for the rest of my life. And I tried to call his house, and his brother always answered, and his brother said, he's not here. I personally thought he was in jail, but I think he was just like, screen the call. So I had some promiscuous relationships that lasted a few hours at a time until I met one guy at a party, and nothing happened. I was in a group, and I was into what they were into, like the rave scene kind of house party thing. So I got in with that group, and somehow it was me and my roommate ended up hanging out with these guys. I don't know if she knew the one guy earlier, but it ended up being like me and her knew someone, and they knew someone, and they were in this house together. I don't know how it happened, what order it happened, but when she had a boyfriend, I had a boyfriend. I didn't like hers, and my boyfriend didn't really like me, and he broke up with me, so I ended up having and I had sex addiction. It was bad. It was oppressive to this guy. I ended up crying, and so I never had a boyfriend after that. It was second year of college. Never had a boyfriend. I stopped being promiscuous. I don't know if I did it on purpose. I think I liked the idea of, like, I thought if you went home with some guy that they would get your phone number and start calling you, be boyfriend and girlfriend, but it didn't. It was so disrespectful for my body. So I went to my third, fourth year. I lived in a co-op, and that was when I met Ben, and we started hanging out at Ben and Joel started hanging out at gay bars. I don't know if Joel was there, and in Detroit. Well, I don't know. We started hanging out at raves and dance clubs, and the music was so good. And I said, between that guy dumping me, all of these other guys never calling me, these guys from my hometown, when I met in my hometown, not liking me, I said, I swear off, guys. Plus, I was like just disrespected, like just cheated on and not talked to. Like, I never got any cards or teddy bears or candy or, you know, chocolate. Like, let alone like jewelry. Like, no one could even go to a gas station and get a freaking fake rose for me. Like, I never got like one thing, and it was kind of sad. I just was in this white picket Hollywood love story with teenage white kids from the suburbs falling in love, those kind of movies, the Molly Ringwald types. And I ended up having where I swore off men, and some weird stuff happened when so third year I moved in Monty House up to that summer. Some weird stuff happened at a party that weekend, the first weekend. And there was this promiscuous guy who was going around and me, making out with me, and then it stopped and we ended up back in the hot tub, and then he like had sex with a virgin and in front of everyone. It was weird. Like, I don't know why I'm even saying this in a movie or in a video. And I mean, I was like a hippie, like peace, love, hippie. Like, I didn't learn any of this from my parents. Like, it was just whatever my woods nymph person became. And I met my ex-husband at that party, and I was terrified of him for a year. I thought he was going to rape and attack us in the tub, and we couldn't move because we were drinking wine, and we were in there for like 12 hours, me and this other young lady. And I ended up having a little fling with one of his friends that lasted a few days or weeks. I had another little fling with his friend that lasted not like a day. And then he came along again and it was like, because me and this other chick were being cheated by this one guy, so we both ganged up and dumped him together. And so apparently I was available, and I was still hanging out with Ben. This guy was begging to come back to me. He was begging to be with me, and I was trying to do like professional dancing and stuff to get like another job to support all my habits. And me, Ben, and Joel went to New Jersey. Like, we just fled. Like, this guy was trying to get back with me and trying to come over to the house. And I don't know what he was trying to do. He's probably trying the same thing with the other woman, or he probably realized he could have been he probably was playing the same thing with each of us. These guys were known for that, going up and down to these co-ops. There was sorority houses and there was co-ops. So the co-ops were us hippie poor people, and we didn't touch the sorority house. I think there was one party next door where they had a sorority party, and I went. They invited us. I was the only one that I got invited to. I've only been to one sorority party and one frat party. And the sorority party was when I was trying to quit drinking. So it was, I don't even quite remember being inside the house. I might have just been in the walkway or something. I don't remember. I remember, like, I was trying to quit drinking, and I was, like, 19, and it was really, or 20, and it was really hard. And I remember that day specifically, because I said, I can't drink anymore, it's making me sick, and I drank, like, a little bit of alcohol, and I got sick. I think that's why I was outside. I might have been puking or something. I drank like a little tiny bit of beer. And I ended up having, after these two best friends on my ex-husband, we got back to town, and then this guy knocks on my door during a snowstorm. It's like, yo, I don't want to walk home. Can I stay with you? And then we probably made out and hung out and played video games, and then he just kept coming back. And he didn't have his own phone. He lived in a rooming house. He said, I'll call you every day or this in 2 days. And a lot of times he didn't call, and then he'd end up calling anyways, and I would ignore him. And so he was trying really hard to hang out with me. I found out later he was also two-timing me with someone up and down that street. And he decided to stay and hang out with me, and then we ended up homeless after our moms died, and it was just, he ended up homeless, but then he moved in with me, which wasn't on the lease or on my renter's agreement, which was really bad. It was a really bad thing. I didn't know what to do because I couldn't pay for him. I couldn't, like my dad was paying me money for my rent. I couldn't pay the extra $100 for him, so I didn't know what to do. I literally didn't know what to do. So kind of sat in my room and hid. And we ended up homeless and went to Reno to get married, and then we were married legally for 10 years, but it was only like 6 or 7 years I was with him, maybe. And that's with the 2 kids, so that with the kids were 3 and 4 when we left, we would have been like probably dating for a year, another year of pregnancy with my daughter, and then another 4 years. I don't know if I added that up right. Another 4 years. It was right before my daughter's 5th birthday, so I was probably physically living with him or dating him for 7 years, and then it was like a year it took me to figure out how to do restraining order, then some time to do separation, and then they said I had up to 2 years maximum to do divorce, where you paid $1, it converts your separation, legal custody of children to divorce. So I just did that, and I was hoping that he would change his mind and be back together with me, and that didn't happen. So I ended up in a homeless shelter, and then I went from shelters to transitional housing. I went through church, I went through my meetings, I went through Parents Anonymous, I went through some domestic violence groups, I went to counseling. That was, a lot of that was mandatory from my DHS workers. I had a addictions counselor and a mental health counselor. So mental health was trying to help me. She was trying to help me get support for being a survivor of domestic violence, but the counselors refused to do that. They're like, dude, you are freaking homeless. You have 2 kids. They're going to school. You have a raggedy car. Like, DHS had you quit your job because of the safety issues with my ex being friends with the person who wrote my checks and helped me find this job. And she worked for the company. And that one, I needed daycare. I didn't have daycare. It was just a mess. And they said, yeah, you're only working like 2, 3, 4 hours a week anyway. You need to focus on your recovery. And I had really bad dental problems, so I needed to focus on a bunch of dental work for me and my son, including the surgery for my son. I read some guy was in a surgery for a child 4 years old in the news the other day, and they said he died. His mom came, they put him on oxygen in the recovery room by himself. His mom came in and checked on him. He wasn't moving, his chest wasn't rising, and the machine was not working. And they said, oh, it's okay, the machine's broken, or it's malfunctioning. And then she said his chest is not rising, and they realized that it was true. And it's weird because when I'm in the hospital, when I was volunteering in the hospital, if anything went weird, like your blood pressure went too high, or pulse went too high or low, like those things would beep. Certain things would happen, people would come running in the room. Like, that was like the only time people came running. But those things would beep loudly in the room. Anyone walking by would peek in, and they would beep at the desk. That was a hospital, though. Like, we had people, like, their pulse socks. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not your doctor, I'm just a volunteer, but just take some deep breaths. Your machine keeps on beeping. Usually it was like after someone else come in and make sure that they could breathe, they had pneumonia or something. Anyways, if someone else gave them the instructions, it was reminding them, because I wasn't their caregiver at all. But it did scare me because there was people turning blue and not able to breathe, and nobody came to help them when we pushed the call button, and that scared me. But this boy ended up dying. Why am I talking about this? So weird. Oh yeah, because my son went surgery. So that was my mission. I got fat eating popcorn every day and food from food pantries and dairy and corn, dairy, wheat, all the cheap stuff. I got fat. I was eating whole wheat bread, but I was allergic to gluten, so whole wheat has a lot more gluten to get to make it stay together. It's not as sticky. So I swore off, I didn't swear off men, but I was in church and I was afraid of men, and I felt I had to find someone who was Christian and single, but people were like, oh, divorce is a sin, oh my god, that's horrible, that, like, well, the Bible says that if there's adultery to leave that person, or even there's the Bible talking about you can leave if your husband or wife is not a believer, and that your kids won't be like heathens if one of you. So I was like, there was more than one place in the Bible that didn't say that it was a sin that I was going to hell for. But I was like, all these people were making up crap, so I was feeling like really guilty about my having crushes. I only had like one crush on somebody at church, like during that whole church time. And then I went to medical school, and I was in my program, my recovery program, and the only people who talked to me were married guys. Like, they would call to say, oh, how you're doing, or I haven't seen you, or then I couldn't find women's support, so my car broke down, I need a meeting, they would be like, excuse me, I'd be like calling men for my meeting that I knew where they lived, where they could drive past my house on the way to the meeting and home. So that, I don't know, how the heck did I get my car that one time? She had a rental car, I don't know. But I did that once. I could give you a ride as long as you don't mind going to this restaurant, because I got to get pie and a piece of pie to take home. He lived out of town. And I was like, this is weird. I'm sitting with a guy after meeting by myself out of pie. Like, I just felt weird. He was married. Like, I felt weird. Those are the only people that called me. Except for or people that had girlfriends. And it wasn't about dating. It was about recovery. But it wasn't any, like, there's one guy we were always looking for, a soulmate. I gotta pray for him too. Dear God, please bless that guy who used to wear the purple shirts. May his business be good, and may he be healthy and happy. I forgot. We used to always be looking for our soulmates, and neither of us really, like, were into dating each other. Wanting to, like, and then we kind of bellyache and cry at each other when we were. There's some weird stuff I know about that guy that scared me. There was some weird stuff, and I was just like, I don't want you around my kids. But he was one of the few people that came into our apartment, like, at least once to look at something or get something. He was one of the few people. So we ended up going. I ended up moving, and I went back to the old group, and that guy was gone. But we'd always be like falling in love with people and think we had our soulmates. And then something would happen, and I think we would tell each other, or I told him, or we tell each other, like, pray for the other person, or what do I do, and I mean, he was a pretty decent guy. I mean, we still all are in our program, so there's something besides the past history of the usage of substance or alcohol. If there's something else, there's other things. Anyone can have other things. Anyone can be actively drinking, but when you sober up, your other things become, you have to deal with them. You're not just happy-go-lucky, like, oh, I'm chill, I'm just, like, gonna drink on the weekends or drink 2 glasses of wine every day. It's like, you are really, like, I don't know how to say it. You gotta face life on life terms, basically. And it's hard. And I find it really hard to stay in the moment. I either future trip or I dwell on the past. And I go to those two extremes. So I don't even know if I've ever been in the moment. I got this free counseling session. I was talking about abuse. I think it was 2016. A lot happened in 2016 to get healing. And this lady at this compassion connection or compassion clinic She goes, I was talking briefly before about what I'm going through, and she goes, are you present? Are you here? And I go, what kind of question is that? She goes, some people are not here. And that's the first time that I realized that I felt, besides being a raw foodist and being flaky, that's one of the first times I felt like I totally zone out. And I don't know if it's from my diet. I totally zone out when I think that I'm just sucked into the past, into the hurt, especially that car accident, waking up feeling like it was my mom beating me all over again and knowing that she's dead and not knowing why I feel like I'm being beaten or hit by a truck, because those were similar. The pain waking me up at night and the pain of some object or some person beating the crap out of my body and having to deal with the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical level of all that, of all that. So I continued my education, did the births, did the doula training, did all this stuff, and I found myself not able to earn income at all, like a $0 income. And I just been dealing with the struggle and knowing that my relatives had said, you'll never be able to make it on your own, and no one will ever love you because you're too emotional. And I I'm like hearing this lies because it's my higher power. When I hear the people in the meetings talk about all the miracles and the promises coming true and how they never thought their life would be so good, and I say, what about me? I've been in here. I've been praying. I've been faithful. I've been loving and listening to my higher power, and I'm still like broke, and I'm still alone, and I still don't have friends, and I still have a sloppy house. And I'm like, why am I so like effed up? And I know some of these people, some of them might not be as long as you think if you met them outside of the meeting, but some of these people, their core at birth, their foundation was based on a loving family. Even people whose family had alcoholics. There was the people that had loving parents or grandparents, or if their parents sucked, maybe they had an older sister who babied them and an aunt or a neighbor. But for me, it was just like hurt and beating. And I don't know, that is like a blockage to receiving the gifts of God. I had received a bunch of gifts of God, biblically speaking. Can't remember what they were. And rapidly early on, like I said in the last video, people in the meetings had more of a spiritual connection to a higher power and a creator than the people at my church that were just fronting it. And someone says, there's no way you could have, they'd always say, you're a new baby Christian, there's no way you could have these gifts of the Spirit. There's no way. If you believe in a God, a miraculous God who's all-powerful, like I believe, and sometimes people believe the complete opposite, and they believe it's from within. If you believe either or both, or neither, you can miraculously receive a spirit of anything, health, of love, companionship. Like a spirit of being disease-free after being diagnosed with something for 15 years. Like, who knows? A spirit of poverty being released. You can be gifted and receive in, like, the universe's timing. So, right now, I'm just like, she was telling me I'm wrong. Everyone kept saying, oh, that's like a baby Christian and take notes and freaking highlight everything in your Bible. And I'm thinking in my mind, that's just like a freaking person that's like likes to be active and do stuff. And I've got to sit here for a freaking hour and try to force myself not to fall asleep. Writing and highlighting was the best thing that I could do, you know, short of like playing on my phone. Like back then I had the flip phone. Like I used to like have to pinch myself during church services. Like I don't care, and I'm going to go home and study this and read this stuff. And they told me, oh my God, you're such a hoarder. You're writing notes about the sermon and you're keeping them in notebooks at home. Nobody does that. And I was, again, desperate to know God and desperate to find, I guess, religion. I hate that word, but to find how to receive help from a power greater than myself, because I was miserable and I was alone. And even people in the church, people in my family, people in the community, sometimes people in the meetings. The meetings weren't as bad as they are to me now in Southwest and Tigard and Northwest. People in the NA meetings, people were more inclusive. They weren't as racist and more diverse group. Anyone can be racist, even if your group is highly diverse. But now it's like everyone seems like 100% of people out there seem racist, like 99.9, unless there's somebody who's really old and they don't have a reason to hate a black person or a person of color. There's, again, the country's divided because of the politics, and I'm where I am right now, and I was like so mad, like. So I gotta go to Al-Anon, I gotta go to AA, I should try that NA meeting over at the church up there. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you gotta work, you gotta run your business, you gotta do eBay, you gotta do clinic, you gotta do doula, you gotta find like a job where you can work from home and all this stuff so that you can do births. And you're in their baby's time. It's not about me, it's about the baby's timing. Every one of us is born, but your boss is not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna not let you leave work to go to a birth, but it's like your doctor would have had to leave his or her family or kid's birthday party or recital to go deliver you if they're on call. Like, you don't think about that, you jerk. Like, every one of us was born, like, kids were born in the house, but most people were born under a doctor that had to be called in with their health team. And that's not saying they had to be called in if they were on shift for the weekend and you just saw who was ever on shift. But a lot of times those doctors, they got pagers and they got to leave, and the only time is when they get out of town for vacation. So I feel like in my mind, I had said this morning. I don't know if I said it, but I thought it. What did you do this year or this lifetime to be free of alcohol and of other substances, including nicotine? I got acupuncture for that, but including nicotine and caffeine and chocolate. Like, what did you do when you had friends and you cried all the time? You went to meetings. You went to meetings. You worked the steps. You read the literature. You prayed to your higher power. And if you have other literature to read that's Christian or other philosophies that I see, meditation online and stuff, I was doing this meditation music. It was a 3-hour thing, and my daughter started doing Tai Chi in the bathroom yesterday, getting ready to go. It's like, it's kind of funny. It's like she gets triggered to do these things that we live in. We live in pockets of diversity. It's mainly like you see white folks drive a Mercedes, but then you have these pockets of diversity of people of color, Asians and blacks and Muslims and Jews, and there's probably a lot of Jewish people in this neighborhood, but like not this neighborhood, but way down there, over there. And it's huge pockets of diversity, but you see, it'd be like if you take a picture and everybody in the front was white and wealthy, and everyone in the back was like blurry. You couldn't see us, and it's like the rest of us were like making up the bulk of community, but you only see this type of person. These people only see each other because they're in front. They don't see all these other people, so when they see those type of people in public, they totally freak out and think you would steal their purse or something. And so I got to a place where I said 2015, I didn't pass a test by 2 points. And that day was, I know what it was being overwhelmed. And I was sick. That day, I felt God telling me to get on online dating. And I did not get on online dating. And I ignored that. Because I was on Plenty of Fish for like a week. When I like failed the test and had to remediate it. So I, was last year, 2018. So September 2018, I, like Jonah and the Big Fish, I waited 3 years because the test was in October of 2015. And then I took it next year, I passed. But I had waited 3 years for to pay attention to God about online dating. And it went through my mind, and it went through my mind. And I went through 2015 to 2016 when I got liberated and broke free from abuse. Again, I went from 2015 to 16 working a vendor job, and then having the hours cut in 2017. So I had about a whole year and a half of good hours. In fact, too many hours. I was making, like, this is low income, but still over $600 a paycheck. It's not very much when you're working like 14 days in a row. You got only like 5.5 hours a day of work, though, unless you did a double. Double would be 12 hours total, but that's counting that 30-minute lunch break. So that's very low income, but it's like the highest income that I had ever received. And I had a couple at the pizza place that were higher than that, but mostly I get less than 500 at the pizza place for 2 weeks of work. Minimum 7 hours a day. I don't know why my income's so freaking low. And I'm getting nothing from my clinic right now. It's a nightmare. So I opened up. I was supposed to work almost 7 days a week all through September. I think I knew that I had like a 1 or 2 or 3 day weekend. And then another week I had like a 2 day week, a 1 or 2 day weekend, and then a job either got canceled or I went to the store and canceled it because the item wasn't there. And then that one was put me at having 2 weekends that month. I don't know what happened. It was not just, like, usually people have a weekend every week. It wasn't just that. I was doing a bunch of doubles, like going from one job to the next, or doing a double at my weekend job, or like working like 12:30 to 6:30, then doing the other job from 7 till whatever midnight or later than midnight. Like, that's what I was doing in September. And then my birthday month, October, I'm a Libra, and then I had taken my birthday off, and that's when I was trying to meet guys, and nobody would meet. They kept flaking out. And then November came, and everyone got all weirded out by the holidays. So I didn't really talk to many guys. I talked to a lot, but they're always like, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I got family stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I work 7 freaking days a week, and I'm a single mom with kids, and I work from home 24/7. When I actually sit get motivated to sit my butt down, because I was down for like, if you have a lunch break for an hour at 11 downtown, I could like totally meet you at a Starbucks for like 40 minutes. Like, I was down for anything like that, but I didn't always mention it as a female. And so that's what happened. October, I knew I took some time off. The weekends that I was busy, men were trying to go out, or go out at night when I was working, or the weekends I was off, everybody disappeared. The people that said, oh, let's meet, and then Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would come and go, and I wouldn't hear from them. And sometimes, occasionally, I hear from a couple of guys like 3 weeks later. They're like, okay, what happened? Like, and I just get depressed. Like a one-night stand that's not a one-night stand. I just got depressed because you feel rejected and unwanted. And people can't even say something came up, I'm not going to hang out, or tell the truth. I found a better gig. I found a hotter chick to hang out with, so I'm going to cancel our plans. Like, at least let me know so I can continue my life instead of just waiting, because I'm like sacrificing my time. I'm like, I'm not going to the grocery store right now because I'm supposed to be meeting somebody. Because if they call me and say they're on their way to the place and I'm already at the store, that's going to take me 40 minutes to get home and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be a flake. So I try to treat others like I want to be treated. I was treated worse than I would ever treated anybody that I can remember. And so I ended up like making this list at work. And this list is not this list was not that accurate, but I was working a couple of weekends and it was slow. I would write in the, I had something in my journal. And I was trying to say I was doing an experiment. What am I saying? Or what am I learning? And I wanted to write it down before I forget, because now I don't even remember. I didn't even know how long it had been. And I'm going to read the list now. But basically that's been the history of my love life. It just sounds like, I would read articles and blogs by white women, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this week I went on 7 dates, and there was a couple guys I really liked, and I hung out with them for like 3 months, and then one guy moved in with me, so, like, they would always talk about all these dates and all these guys, and, like, a few that didn't work out, but they were still fun, they just weren't compatible, and they made good friends with these dudes. And I go, the story of a white woman, like, I'm black, I went out with one guy, okay, that was what I was before last week, and now it's like, oh, I went out with you guys, let's see how it goes, because I know how I am and who I am, and I want to think positively and have the law of attraction. I think if I put my assets in my detriments, I don't know if that's the right word, Webster, where are you? I feel like all this stuff is so bad. It's like the baggage people. Most of the guys would be like, "Don't be bringing baggage into your relationship. I'm not going to date you if you have baggage or kids, or you were married, divorced. You're messed up." And then I read one guy's opinion the other day, and they're like, I think it was somebody's profile. They're like, we all have baggage, deal with it. It's like, just deal. Or they kind of say it like you're dealing with it, or you're working on it, or whatever. Like we're like, especially like over 40 and all this. And if I write down the rest, like I told somebody that that I was loyal and committed, and I felt, of course, they didn't respond. I just wanted to say that because that's how I just wanted to state that. And it's hard to say something like that. Well, I mean, while I was married, I was loyal and committed. Even if he wasn't, and he didn't want monogamy anymore. I was still, and he had all these lies and broken promises, and saying he was going to help with the kids, or help with the dishes, or help with the household. So, and he just ended up trying to party and cheat on me. And, like, I did not cheat on him. I did not, like, do anything backstabby. And unfortunately, what I did was walk on eggshells and try to cater to him even more because I never was good enough. And so being myself, when I was with abusive people, being myself means you're beaten and you're kicked and your people are stealing from you and raping you. Like, when I was myself before, so it's like, I don't want to be fake, but I'm like, dear God, if I'm myself, like, you feel like if you're yourself, it's like if you wear the red coat, people will beat you. But if you wear the blue coat, no one touches you. So you feel like you want to always wear the blue coat, but it's like you love the red coat. So it's like you have to have faith to go out in the red coat and have God. You have to believe and do a law of attraction and have faith that you go out in your red coat and nobody touches you. Or you freaking pound them in the ground because you took years of martial arts. And I believe in faith, and I believe in thought, positive thought. I believe that also leads to the law of attraction, but it doesn't, not all attraction you receive is positive. So I've been working on that since I found Elisa Romano. I believe it was 2016 when I started seeing her, and the narcissistic abuse and all that type of stuff. And some people that were on YouTube for years talking about, like, she'll talk about that, but she won't stay stuck in the past like I do sometimes. They'll be like past, present, and what does your future hold? They don't know what to talk about, but it's like having other people to kind of unravel and just throw this past away so that it's not affecting your present or affecting your future. I ate those nuts earlier and it gave me like kind of bad feeling. So here are the approximate steps, weeks of learning that I learned from my online dating experiment. Week 1, ego trip, so many likes and messages. I've done this more than once, guys. Then fear. Just being in public for most of my life and having a handful of men actually want to be with me, spend time with me. A handful of men. The majority of those men didn't even want to go out in public with me. A few of them I met their parents, like once. And so it was, you go in the store, you go in your meeting, you go into church, you go into parties and kids' parties and New Year's Day parties and potlucks, and there's no man talking to you. So having a couple of chats and likes, I kind of got, they say that women will get ego trip, but again, the white women, if they really are getting 500 messages a day and all this stuff, that's a lot different than me, little Mia, single mom, 2 kids, black, impoverished. Week 2, couldn't sleep, nightmares, and flaws. So nightmares was one. There was a lot of creepy freaking profiles, a lot of creepy pictures. I couldn't sleep because I was like totally like scared of. And some people that were contacting me were really crazy. Like really crazy. Or some of these dudes were super abusive. The stuff that came out of their mouth was either rude, disrespectful, and or abusive. Someone said I needed plastic surgery because of wrinkles. Like, I had, like, laugh lines. I'm like, what the heck? It's like, I don't even, like, my eyes are not the best because I use eye makeup, so it's really affected. The skin around my eyes is damaged because of that. I have chemical sensitivities and stuff. I can't wear lipstick because of it. I don't wear chapsticks. I don't want to get addicted. My lips are super dehydrated and dry all the time. It's really bad. And if I'm over 40 and I have wrinkles, I don't give a crap. I have gray hair. I have freaking wrinkles. I have freaking stretch marks from here to the moon that flop over my freaking underwear line. If you don't like it, then you can go blank yourself. Like, go get someone who freaking has Botox, man. Don't talk to me. If you don't like my wrinkles, then go find someone who does plastic surgery and Botox and dyes their hair and doesn't have stretch marks. It has tummy tucks. I don't care. And laser surgeries. I don't care. Like, I've gone to the point that this is who I am. And it's kind of enjoyable. Flaws, and I said, God help me, if I freaking stay alone because nobody likes me, because nobody liked me before, it's like, if I'm going to be 120 years old, I'm sitting in a rocking chair on the back porch of my freaking apartment in some place I finally could buy a condo or something, a townhouse. I'm on the second story balcony, and I'm like sitting there rocking my chair saying, oh well, God, I'm still alone. It's like, I tried to pray about it. Did I do something wrong? Well, God, it wasn't your timing. Like, I told myself that might end up being me. And not that I'm trying to attract that, but it's like, you know that a lot of people don't like you, and that they always find a flaw, and you know that these people are not that perfect either. And just like, I gotta exercise, by the way. I'm gonna get this Wii out that I bought at the thrift store at least a year ago and see if I can get it to work. So I wanted to be with someone, and I also didn't want to be afraid because men hurt me and because I was abused by my relatives, my parents, that they want to try to keep you under their control. Even after death, they want to try to keep you oppressed and have all these glass ceilings because they want to control someone. They want to abuse someone. That's their fuel. Some people take caffeine, some people take Coke, some people eat healthy, and some people take meth. Some people, they live because they abuse others. And I have to separate, like, again, cut the ties that bind me. Flaws, the week 2, I noticed all the stuff I tell you guys. People didn't like me, I have acne scars, I have freaking fat belly, my legs are like thunder thighs. Like, what kind of raw foodies are you if you're just, like, so chunky and out of shape? And I have messes, I have low earning potential, I hate it about myself. And I had, like, a whole bunch of dental issues. People were like, if you don't have all your teeth, don't talk to me. Like, a whole heck of a lot of people had their freaking, whatever, these mature teeth, I don't remember, wisdom teeth, these wisdom teeth removed. Whole heck of a lot of people in this world had their wisdom teeth removed. I had a tooth surgery here because I damaged a nerve, and I'm lucky to even have that tooth. I'm scared it might fall out one day. But I was like, oh, someone's missing one wisdom tooth. I was like, oh, heck no, I'm not going to stay like this guy. I was like, who cares? If my lover has freaking dentures, I don't give a crap. Like, I don't care if he's 20. I don't care if he's 60. Like, if God brings me this person, that is the least of my concerns, okay? If you scare me with the teeth and try to, like, hide them somewhere, that freaks me out, then I'll have to speak up about it. But if that's, like, I am not perfect. I'm getting older. And I'm not immune to being the same exact way. Even my friend who got in a bike accident had her teeth, all, like, she had her teeth, but she had some major issues. You never, like, I don't know. That's just my own opinion. Sex talk, guys want only sex. Sex talk, I looked online, and then most of the guys that were contacting me were looking for hookups and one-night stands. They would be like, oh, I'm not looking for hookups, neither am I. LOL. And, like, this one guy, I didn't meet anyone, this one 20-something or 30-year-old guy said that, and I was like, yeah, right, I'm not gonna, he's like, oh, what, nobody went out with you, I'll go out with you. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be a first. I was like, this guy is cute. But then, I'm not looking for a hookup either, LOL. I was like, nope. And I didn't actually delete him. We never talked. His account just disappeared. 4 and 5 were the confusing weeks, or this is for soul searching and red flags. So the red flags were obvious, whether it's something in their picture background, them with a bunch of women in their pictures, them trying to cut out women with a bunch of women's arms all over them. There's one guy with 2 chicks on his lap that are wearing lingerie. There's a lot of people making out with their dogs. That's weird. A lot of booze. And I'm like, well, they just go out with friends. Maybe it was the only picture they had. But it's like 100% booze. It's not like somebody just standing out next to a tree getting a selfie. And you're kind of like, I don't drink. What's up with that? Unconditional love. Oh, yeah, I did this. It was going to be a week challenge for myself. So I made some of these after I started. Like, oh, I kind of got sidetracked on YouTube looking at stuff. Like, guys just saying, oh, this is how you bag a chick. Like, these are 3 steps to take to get a hookup from someone who doesn't want to hook up. Like, this is manipulative stuff. It sucked. It didn't seem very fun. I mean, people at work remind me, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Unconditional love. I wanted to just spend a week just loving and talking to people and being friendly. I spent more than a week doing that, and I might have remained, I just like scraped the skin off my finger and it hurts really bad. I might have remained in contact with some people I didn't want to, like the chainsaw guy, chainsaw massacre guy, or whatever, axe killer. I call him axe killer. I stayed in contact with people because I'm like, I don't know them in person yet, and I was ignoring those red flags that I had been trying to do the week before. Week 6, love and romance. Comfort in love with sweaty palms. Pudgy's palms. So, before I got online, before I set up this account, I was writing some stories in 2018, love stories that I like to write. And I never could figure out what love felt like. I could never figure out, it was, oh, let's do stuff together and let's have sex. Like, that is what my past was. Sex, the act of sex without love, and this. Like you would be a friend. Let's go drive to the store and get ice cream. Let's go get gas in the car. Blah, 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 blah. Let's take a road trip. It's like it's not a lover. It's not a lover, a loving partner, intimate relationship. So I was trying to research before I got online. I was watching every movie, reading every book that I could about love. I think I have a love feng shui book somewhere. I don't even know. I don't know. I didn't read all those, but I was just like, library books, movies, gay movies, like anything, straight movies, interracial movies, YouTube videos, the Christian love stories, the Christian erotic love stories. Like, I was trying to get my story. I was trying to learn from watching others, fiction or real, how love feels, because I never felt love, including unconditional love from other people. There's some unconditionally loving people in the world, but I haven't had them as friends or relatives, really. And it's like, it feels impossible for me to deal with writing this when I don't know. Like, I can love someone big time, but in the past, they hadn't always loved me back. And they could have been in the same boat with family issues where they were not capable of receiving or showing love, even though they could have love. And that love doesn't always keep somebody faithful in a relationship. I have issues with people touching me anywhere, even chiropractors and doctors, pap smears, anything. I've been sexually assaulted. I had been assaulted as a child. I have residual memories of being assaulted as an infant. And I have, obviously as an adult as well. That sucks. I married my ex in 1998 after her mom's died. And I thought, and the day we got married, it was like Jekyll and Hyde. He hated me. Like right before we left town in East Lansing, he hated my guts. And I didn't have a choice. I said, it's either me with him or me by myself on the road, homeless. So I was just like, whatever, we're going to get married. The day we got married, within like 6 hours, he completely ignored me. And I was so mad. I burned up the Jeep rugs in a fire. And I couldn't get that out. The upholstery and the rubber wouldn't go out. And I guess that would be like a tire fire, huh? And my Jeep was right next to it. And I don't think I had the keys. I think he had the keys. And I couldn't, I go, come help me, come help me. I couldn't move my Jeep. And I couldn't put the fire out. And all I was doing, the water was right over there, but it was so close to my Jeep that I couldn't walk away for a second. So I was just dumping dirt on this stupid fire. I go, help me. And I would have liked him to get a bucket and get some freaking water and help me put this thing out and move my freaking Jeep a few yards away. But he just let me put this fire out, and I hated him. I was expressing probably psychotic behavior. I was probably expressing my hate of how I was being treated and how he just refused to talk to me and how he was putting the kittens in the sleeping bag, and I was so lonely. He wouldn't even talk to me. As soon as I got married, oh yeah, this is perfect, we love each other, blah blah blah, for months and months. And then all of a sudden, you're my enemy. I hate you. So I felt gypped. I was out in the middle of Arkansas. I didn't know what to do. We were deep in the woods. I had no clue what to do. So when we bought our house, I bought my house, I should say. This was my money. I felt like we were like this. And I found out that he still hated me and that he refused to stay up in the day because he didn't want to have anything to do with me. So he'd wait until I woke up to go to bed, and then when I went to bed, he'd wake up. So he wouldn't have to deal with me. Occasionally, we'd go to the store. He was still using me and still using my dad's money and all this other stuff. My Jeep and my money and my house. And, And so for a few months, I was able to, climax with him intimately. Because, I told you, I kind of had, a slight sexation. And I felt, the reason I believe is that I felt loved. I felt that everything was, perfect. And when I felt unconditional love and romantic love and monogamous relationship love, I felt like my body would be able to, orgasm. Like it did. And I would, be screaming at the top of my lungs. And after, that was probably before he started doing extreme sleeping in the night or sleeping in the day. And when I had my kid, and then we had moved back to Michigan on I didn't want to. That's when he was talking about women flirting with him at work. That's when I found out he was doing porn. And it was never the same again for me for the rest of my life. And we had done some weird experiments with substances. Back then we had got condoms through Joe, got some games and some erotic stuff through mail order. But I'm not sure we really used that stuff. And that's like our own honeymoon present to ourselves. Nobody sent us anything. We sent out announcements and pictures of our marriage. And so when I had found out he was doing porn and flirting with chicks and then asking what he's doing this weekend, and he was not wearing his wedding ring, and I felt brokenhearted. And he started sleeping in a different room than me. I had my kids. I felt betrayed. So it never happened, and we had done some stuff out in Portland, and it would be like fun, and it would be like climatical, comical to him, but probably never to me, ever, because he was so selfish. Sometimes guys can be selfish, but then again, women need to speak up. But he didn't care. I would be doing all of these favors, and he would be holding porn magazine so that he didn't have to look at me. It just got so much more heartbreaking, and I was desperately trying to save the marriage. And my behaviors, my little fun favors, were wild. I'm not gonna lie. And the stuff that he wanted to do that involved other people, I was like okay with, because I was trying to save the marriage. I was pretty desperate. So that is a thing that I'm not really proud of, but I was like, well, we're going to grow old together, like, have this fun now. And so when he started doing stuff behind my back, trying to blame me for it, saying that I brought these people into our lives to say screw, I was like, oh, heck no. And then that these people are talking about, oh, when should we bring Mia into the mix, into a threesome? Like, oh, heck no, you guys are having sex behind my back. And so basically that was our goodbye. So I would spend days and weekends pleasing this guy, and he would just ignore my body. I asked him many times for simple, like, massage. I was carrying babies. I was pregnant. My boobs were super heavy from nursing. He would take my car. I had to carry both kids around miles at a time. Try to make my older one walk, but she'd get hurt. I had to carry both kids. I asked for a simple, like, rub or foot rub. And he never, ever, ever once in those 6-7 years would do it. But I would do so much to please him. Just selfish little prick. And sometimes I think when I left, the crap that I was doing on a daily basis, until I started screwing around, I would change things up so frequently and just be wild. And it didn't pleasure me. And it was just a job, like part of my job, like working in a factory, just monotonous. It wasn't monotonous, but it was hard work. I thought, God, when that guy went and thought these other women were sexier than me, or that they talk nasty, I was like, these people are skanky. That's why they talk nasty, because they are nasty. They're sleeping with anyone they can to get free drugs. Like, they are nasty and skanky, and like, I was just like wholesome, like, wife type. I didn't learn, I tried some of the stuff, but when you're with somebody and you like them, even if you don't know them that well, if you feel consensual, like, bond for that moment, it's easier to just be like, just let yourself be yourself. But when you know that this person hates you, and that they're using you, and that they're hurting you, and that they don't care, they don't care about anyone but themselves, it's harder to fake your, like, to be trashy talk. Like, if I really was if I thought he was into me, my ex-husband, I would have done more. I did as much as I could, but it was just so fake and so much acting, and I want to feel real when I'm doing stuff. So then I went over 10 years abstaining from sex, and it wasn't that I was abstaining. I thought church would be like, oh no, don't even think about sex. But I was scared, but I never had opportunity. I never had a guy talk to me. I never had, except for this married guy, so I wouldn't hang out with him really. I never had a reason for anyone to talk to me and like me and say something about sex. So I was, even if I wanted to, if I didn't want to, I never had an opportunity for over 10 years. So the love to me is a big thing. And people can have, this is sad, people can have affairs, or they can have, like, I saw this HBO special where there's Europeans who are looking at each other in a car and be like, and then they would follow each other and go have sex somewhere in the car or in their apartment. And like, now you find out these guys. I watched a whole HBO special about this in the 90s. And I was like, is that how it is over there? You can have something that's not love, that's just boom, boom, and totally have one or more orgasms. Like, I know that. Like, and I'm sure that probably happened to me when I was younger. No relationship. You don't even know this person's name. Like, I'm sure that it happened because it was like fiery passion. So then nowadays, I don't just want to be like a booty call. I don't just want to be like friends with benefits. And I had a lot of people get mad at me online, and I was like, God, I respect my body, but I still was trying to be like, carry stuff on you just in case. I still want to respect my body and not disrespect my body. Like, and I thought that was weird for me to say, you made out with one guy once in 14 and a half years, and you are turning guys down that think you're beautiful and want to have sex. And some of these guys talked about being non-monogamists, having sex, and then they're going around like, we should see other people, like acting like they're my boyfriend and asking how it's going and all. Like, this is like, you're not even supposed to be like caring. Like, you're supposed to be just like wham bam thinking, man. Like, I was just like, I don't want to play games and try to think somebody's gonna get something from me. But I was trying to learn communication. And my biggest thing is, who knows what my higher power would bring if I were to meet this person in a public place. Who knows what my higher power would tell me to do. Even, again, if you just, like, had coffee and tea and sat there and chit-chatted and said to each other, it's not gonna work. So that's what's hard for me now. I was thinking that I was loved by my ex, but truly being hated, and thinking, oh man, who are you going to find to perform those type of favors on you after you threw away my marriage? Why should I worry about it? Sometimes I think he would have regretted. But again, some of these people, they don't regret it. They're charming, they're cute, they can get any woman they want. They're gay, any man. And they want to use you for narcissistic and abusive fuel. They're not about trying to get you back. You know, they're trying to use you for what they were using you for before. Week 7 was supposed to, this would have been October, no, this would have been November, right before Thanksgiving. Real world, in real life, life and dating. Week 8 was supposed to be dating 3 times. So I was hoping that I can meet in real life 3 guys and dwindle it down the next week to make 9, 2, and next week 10, 1, and I'm going to have 11, but it should be week 11, success with a line under it. Now, what is success? I don't know. You're dating, you're trying to meet people online, they flake out on you, you've met 2 people in 4 months, and people still have their dating website accounts open. People aren't saying, oh, think we're swell together. I want to say that. So let's be willing to see where this goes without having all each other extra people, men and other and or women in the mix. I haven't gotten to that stage. I want to be like that, but the other half of the dating doesn't agree, and so it makes me feel heartbroken because there's not a lot. There could be willingness, and I told myself and other people that I really need to learn to communicate better. Some of the little arguments or miscommunications with some of these, especially younger guys, they were really bossy and it felt they like were entitled. I don't know. It was like I don't know. It was just like they were bratty, white, entitled men who just want to like treat me like a slave. It was bad. Like the stuff that they would say, and they'd criticize. And I'm like, who the heck are you? Like, why can't you just be a neutral person meeting another neutral person? Everyone's entitled to have their opinion and say what they want. But I was shocked at the number of entitled, disrespectful, rude little jerk-offs that I had met. And it didn't matter how cute they were. They could have been drop-dead gorgeous. It was just bad. It was bad vibe altogether. I'm going to call the Washington State Naturopathic Board and find out if my stuff has been approved. I just take it one day at a time. My goal right now, and I know I have family and I have health, my goal right now is to be sober every day no matter what happens, and to keep in contact all the time with my higher power. That is what I'm trying to do. If I end up homeless, if I end up getting a STD or incurable disease, if I end up being diagnosed with cancer, if I freaking go outside and something hits me and severs my head because there's a windstorm going on, like I could die or I could be blind or I could be paralyzed. Like sobriety and relationship with God, sobriety and clean. And right now it's like the world is like feels like it's crashing down on me, and it feels like the things that I want are happening. Is it because I'm not working hard enough? Is it because I'm sitting here all day making videos and not doing what I should be doing? I'm supposed to be working out and taking a shower. My gratitude list will tell me, and I already have like a little bit of visual background of when I say the word, stuff pops up there right away. My gratitude list tells me that I have miracles of God being performed in my life every day, every hour of every day. And I know when I had the crush on the guy at my one job a few years ago, that this guy totally did not like me. I didn't know if he was available or even straight, but I still liked being friends, and it all fell apart when I asked if he wanted to hang out, because Richie Houghton was in town. I didn't know who to take, and I couldn't, my kids weren't old enough, they probably wouldn't want to go anyway, and so I was still in that bratty, like, I want what I want when I want it, like, I wanted to start by being acquaintances and friends and companions, and see where that goes, because it wasn't working with women friends. They were flaking out even worse than the guys, and I thought, what kind of world do we live in? So, what happens? I am here on January 14th, 2019, saying I gotta do some billing before the next 2 hours when my son wakes up and we gotta go to his school. And I just feel like, I don't want to say I feel like a loser, but I kind of feel like a loser, but it's like, what are your goals? God and sobriety. And of course you have a bed that needs to be changed. Of course you have dishes that need to be done. Of course the animals probably want something. In fact, my Cheryl wants water. And if I don't ever take breaks, I don't ever take days off, I don't ever say, okay, I'm just, over the holidays, I was doing business for my business big time until 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve. I was so tired I slept. And I set an alarm for 11 to do more business besides trying to watch the ball drop. Someone told me just watch it, rerun at 9, watch it live, East Coast at 9 p.m. next year. They're like, you can't miss the ball this time. But I feel like I keep dwelling on trying to heal from the past and try to make myself a positive person so that I can attract goodness in my life, from friendships to intimate partner to financial stability to feng shui to clean house to declutter. And I feel like there's something blocking that there's a blockage. And I just do what I do to keep these two things and hope that as a foundation, my recovery and my relationship with a higher power, that the other stuff will come. But it's like I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm like sore all the time. I'm tired all the time. I get woke up all the time, and I don't have days off. And it's just so. It's still like I probably wasn't thinking about hot guys when I was living in a homeless shelter with no food in my stomach and no clothes. With the clothes I brought on my back when I came into the shelter in the summer, I had no coat, nothing, no blanket, nothing. And I feel like that's survival mode big time. When you're in the abuse, when you're fleeing the abuse and you're homeless, that's big time survival mode. And I've done this, especially coming up on the solstice, like maybe a couple months before. Food, water, shelter, wherever it is. Whether you're out on the sidewalk or whether you're in a nice house, whether you're in a penthouse, whether you're in a mansion. Food, water, shelter, oxygen. Oxygen you need first, then water, then food and shelter. Then you want those things that you can't control. Friendships, partner, stuff that your kids are doing. Those things that you can't control the other people. You can only control what you do. And you can't control that all the time if your higher power is not wanting you to do certain things. Or if you're procrastinating doing what you're supposed to be doing, like I'm probably known to do. I'm going to read this quote and I only had like an hour and a half to have stuff to do. This is a book I was trying to get my kid to read, The Secret of the Heart Note by Stacey Lee. My daughter didn't want to read it. My son didn't want to read it. I'm not very far. It's not one of those, it's so juicy I can't put it down stories, but it is a juvenile book. Some of the juicy sexual erotica stories are like really, can't run them down. Even the ones I've read already, you know what's going to happen, but you can't. In fact, I'm going to get one of those. I'm going to order one, I think, right now. This is from this book. I wrote it down, and I can't even read my writing. Beware ye, Aramator, lay your traps of love, but do not yourself get caught. Larkspur, Aramator, 1698. I don't know why I wrote that underneath the dating thing. These people had a job and they got cursed that they couldn't fall in love or they lose their ability to smell people's scents, where they make love potions and they do all for free. So if they fall, and the early ones would fall in love. So this is a spoiler. The mom of the girl, since she couldn't fall in love, she didn't even try to have sex. She had artificial insemination. But they would have, since that time, since hundreds of years, I guess, they would have to figure out how to get pregnant so that they could pass their ability on to their child. It seems like mostly girls. So they're kind of like witches, but they have the ability to smell. And they use all these plants, and they have the family house and the garden and all the stuff to make the little mixtures, and they're not allowed to eat salt or, I don't know about super spicy. And they are not supposed to get touched, because they get touched, it messes them up, and they have to spritz themselves with this neutralizing thing. So the mom was homeschooling the girl, and she begged to go to school, so she finally let her go to school. Now it's weird stuff happening. And there was a little bit of a mix-up. So basically it's like a love potion with a little bit of a mix-up. And that's where we're trying to, the girl is trying to get that straightened out. And they could smell each other. Her mom could smell her sweat or fear or anything. So she's trying to like keep calm. Like, oh, maybe mother already smelled it. I couldn't imagine. Like, what's weird with my daughter, I think she should read it. It makes me mad. It's like, I have a psychic connection with you. It's like, some things you just don't need to know. To shut it off. Like, I had to learn to, like kind of keep myself there. But I only wanted this to be 15 minutes. I don't really like that that quote. I don't know why I wrote it down. Because I'm not this job, but it's giving me a bad vibe. I'm gonna read the book and see if they allow themselves to love. But they were cursed. I bet you they could undo the curse. But it's fiction. Doesn't matter. I watched this, or read this, and I've been watching some episodes of Good Witch, and I felt like that lady. It's fiction. I felt like it's me and a daughter. I have a son too, and trying to work and have a store and do this stuff. And she's like really smiling, and like all these dudes think she's attractive, which is his exes and his other people come in. But the love of her life is like her next door neighbor, who's just like he's just like, whoosh, like, but he still sees her dating and hanging out and living, and it's really slow for him to kiss her and date her and stuff. And then, of course, the teenage daughter, when they date, just get all ticked off and weirded out. But first, she said it's cool. But I love that lady because he's like a doctor and she's like a naturopath. I don't believe in this stupid stuff. But then he's starting to like use her stuff. Nothing in my clinic's working. What is your remedy, please? I need some more. I need lots of it. It's so cute. I love like how she's like affected by the energies like the moon and how she can sense things and try to help people and use all this, like similar to this, all these little essential oils and teas, and it made me feel like I wanted to have some. And she was dark. She's not like black. I wonder if she's Persian or something mixed. I thought Cassie. I thought of her as being similar to me. Like people were trying to burn her at the stake because they said she's a witch when she first moved to town. I think they're just like having knowledge and how to heal and eat healthy and treat her daughter, her beautiful daughter. She has stepkids too she was widowed. So having this science-backed, wealthy, professional, clean-cut, haughty guy, older gentleman, have the biggest crush on her. It's so cute. And so I would watch as many episodes I could get from the library. I think I'm on season 3 or season 4. They're like in high demand, Hallmark Channel production. And there's one movie you can get through the online, and I got another movie. I don't know if I got movies. Sometimes there's a special, like Halloween special or something somewhere. It's kind of out of context with the timeline. But I really started to like the show and the small town and her shop. It's like my trinket store is just like her shop. It's exactly what I wanted. Her bed and breakfast. I've always wanted a bed and breakfast, and she acts like a naturopath. And she also is willing to help somebody get a surgery. Like, that's me. I also do surgeries and conventional medicine. I just felt like, God, somebody took what I wanted my life to be like, including the sexy older guy, like, clean cut, who thought she was a little local and then realized her stuff works. It's like, if that was like my dream the past few years, and I see this movie that I found sitting on the shelf of the library, and I'm like, I was telling my daughter, dude, you gotta watch this. Dude, you gotta watch this. I'm gonna make some tea. I hope my water's not on right now. I better go check. Bye.